Jamie Purvis. I've been in the real estate space for over 37 years now, and I started off in 1986, became a top agent, then decided to go out and build a real estate team, co-founded a real estate team, then stepped into leadership and grew the number one Keller Williams office in Canada. And at the end of 2018, made a pivot in my life and made a decision to turned the page and decided to follow a dream. And we started a business coaching company. And that's what we've been doing for the last 5 years. So we're here today because we basically want to share a vision with you and an idea and go on this mindset trip where we can create our best life. And how do we do that so we thrive in any market? And that's what we're going to do today. And I'm going to share 3 ideas that I'd like you to implement, maybe shift some patterns that might be showing up and help you really turn 2024 into a great experience. So let me go back in time. I want to take you back to February 6th, 1989. Now, some of us were around, others might not have even been born at that point. February 6th, 1989, it was 11:30 in the morning. And I had just come back from my honeymoon. Everything was going really well in my real estate business. I'd started in 1986. It took me 4 months to sell my first house. And then I really became very successful. And in my best month, I sold 13 properties on my own. Was making a lot of money, more money than anybody in my family had ever made before. And everything was just awesome. It was just incredible. So coming back from my honeymoon, just expected to pick right back up. And then the phones stopped. And I remember asking my broker at the time, like, what happened? And he said, "Oh, it's just this, it's just winter. Don't worry, it'll get better in the spring." And he was actually right. It did get better. It was just 7 years later. So 7 years went by, and the market had shifted. And this rest of the story, you might be feeling some of this right now for yourself. The market in January to February 1989, it dropped from 6,000 sales to 3,000 sales. 50% drop in a month. Over the course of time, over the next year and a half, 2 years, interest rates went up to 14.5%. Prices dropped over a 7-year period, almost 30%. And the agent count actually dropped 44%, went from 33,000 down to 18,500. Unemployment started to rise. Sellers' expectations were very unrealistic for the market. I remember many times simply hearing, I just want to get back what I paid for the property. I'll be happy to get my money back. And buyers sensing that the market had shifted, even though it might have been a good deal, they wanted a better deal. The buyers wanted the best deal possible. So they weren't even motivated to put on offers. They were happy to look at properties if they could even afford to buy. This went on, and I started to use all my savings. I went months without a sale. I had no idea how to get through this market, how to navigate through it. And what ultimately happened is I remember one evening, it was about 12:31 in the morning. My wife came downstairs, and I was sitting on the couch, and I was just crying like a baby. I had lost everything. All the money was gone. Couldn't afford to maintain the properties. It was gone. So I sense this may be happening right now. This confusion, what you're going through, the market you knew 2 years ago isn't that market anymore. And unless you have experience being in this business for probably over 20 years, you've never even noticed or felt a market like we're in right now. I know in my 37 years, I've never seen interest rates go up so fast from where they were from a percentage perspective. So it's affecting us as real estate agents, and it's affecting people in general. I remember making a decision. So this is the first thing I want to impress upon everyone. You have an opportunity to make a decision. What do you do moving forward? I made a decision I wasn't going to quit. I made a decision that I needed to find the market within the market. I needed to change my perspective. I realized I needed to upgrade my skills. I wasn't as skilled, or the skills I had weren't conducive to the market I was in. So I needed to become a better salesperson. And then I knew I needed help. I found a mentor and hired a coach. And I didn't even have the money for it. I borrowed the money, but I knew I wanted a different result. So the first secret I learned is the power of awareness, understanding what's actually going on right now in front of you, and owning it and being accountable to it. I knew something was going on in the market earlier in the summer. I had people reaching out and asking for help. And when I transitioned out of the real estate industry and sold my shares and walked away and started the coaching business, we were focused on business owners, entrepreneurs, salespeople in various industries around the world. I wasn't really focused on the real estate space. I'd had real estate clients, but I wasn't focused on it until this past summer. Early in the summer, I had people I knew that were very successful reaching out, and they were telling me how hard the market was for them. So I follow my intuition. I had this thought, I need to speak to more people to find out what are they going through. So I made a decision I was going to have 100 conversations. So in 2 months, I reached out and I spoke to 100 real estate agents. And I wanted to find out what was their biggest struggle and what were their biggest sales challenges. We had a list of 18 items that came up repeatedly. Here was the top 10. And the top three, I think, are probably pretty conducive for what everyone's feeling right now. Am I missing anything on this list? Just think for yourself, or type in the chat. If I'm missing something, we definitely want to make sure that we get that out. It's important to understand these feelings that we have is causing us to stay stuck. So I was feeling this and noticing that this is stopping people. This is holding people, keeping them stuck where they are. It was actually the number one reason doubt was causing fear. And when we have fear, we're afraid to act. So how do we shift from where we are, the present current awareness, to a different outcome? We need to focus on changing our identity. This journey that we're on, I'm impressing upon you this idea that you're going to create your masterpiece life now. We have the power to change our thinking today. By becoming aware of what we currently are thinking, we can apply this law, the law of polarity, to help us change our thinking. And the law of polarity is basically the law of opposites. Victor, I love what you just shared, not feeling relevant, feeling redundant. It's a specific form of self-doubt. It's definitely buried in there, right? And that feeling, if we focus on any of these feelings, self-doubt, distractions, being consistent, not having the cash flow, we actually will start to self-sabotage. And then our results show that or reflect that. So how do we change this? I'm going to focus on the top three. How do we change the self-doubt? Well, we look at the opposite. What is opposite of doubt? Confidence. So I'm going to ask you to participate and type in the chat confident, the word confident, or write it down for yourself. One of the two. I just want you to create the moving and the feeling of that word. Thank you. Confident. Beautiful, Paul. Thank you. How do we replace distractions, or all these distractions that might be showing up in our life? What's the opposite of distraction? Focused. So type in the chat, focused. Rob's way ahead of me. Good job, Rob. How do we replace inconsistency? By being consistent. So type in the chat, consistent. These three power statements, these power words, and they are powerful because they can literally change our state, our feeling. To own them, to bring the energy that comes from those words, I'd like you to type in, I am confident, own this as if you're talking to yourself, looking at yourself in the mirror. I am confident. Type I am focused. Type I am consistent. And this concept will actually help us shift our energy. This is a mindset reset exercise that we recommend so many times to our clients. Anytime you're feeling in a negative state, we can literally change our state in an instant. We can take a couple minutes, write down everything that we're feeling, get it out of our mind onto paper. It releases the energy and any sense of being trapped in those thoughts. And then we can replace the negative with a positive. So in this case, we've just replaced the top 3 challenges that not only realtors, but probably most of the world is feeling right now. We are a reflection of people in general. So if we're feeling this, they're feeling that. How do we help ourselves so we can help them? And part of this transformational journey is becoming aware that we need to be selfish. We need to really focus on helping ourselves first. And the minute we do that, we can help other people. So here's a process that I would highly recommend. To repeat these 3 words and create a chant, and then anchor that with a feeling of excitement. So to repeat them 3 times, and I'm going to do it for you. And as I'm doing it, feel free to follow along. We repeat them sequentially. So I am confident, I am focused, I am consistent, and then repeat it 3 times. Each time, bring more energy and say it louder. And then when you're finished the 3rd cycle, you anchor it. I like to anchor it with UA. My business partner lives in San Diego, and that's the Navy SEAL capital. And
can we unmute and do this together?
Sure. You guys want to do that? We'll play.
Yeah, let's bring up the energy.
So feel free to unmute yourself and let's do it together. Okay. So for everyone that wants to participate, on the count of 3, we're going to go through it 3 times. I'm confident, I'm focused, I'm consistent. And then we're going to say it louder and faster. So every time we go through it, louder and faster, louder and faster. And then we anchor it. When we're done the 3rd time, we anchor it with a ooh-ah. Okay? So on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. I am confident.
I am focused. I am consistent.
I am
I
confident.
am confident. I am focused. I am consistent.
I am
I
confident.
am
I am
focused.
I am consistent.
I am consistent. Hoo-ah.
Nice. Awesome. Thank you, everyone. And I love what, Victor, I'm watching you. You're on my screen. So you brought that energy in. Do you feel the shift? Right? We feel the shift of energy. So if we can do this in an exercise together, and it doesn't matter if we all said it separately at different times, none of that matters. What matters is we can shift our energy and our experience anytime we make the decision to. And part of this journey is we're creating a new identity. We're creating a new feeling. So you're feeling overwhelmed, mindset reset, take the negative, turn it to positive, and then anchor that statement. Create a game out of it, a chant out of it. Because as we start to shift this energy, it starts to put us in this mindset of thriving as if we've already achieved our goals. So we're going to start to now get into the future a little bit in our head. But what starts to happen even before that, we start to feel good about it. We start to realize, okay, I have the ability. I'm going to survive in this market. I have been successful. I know what I need to do. And that's where we jump into the next problem. The next problem is do-do. We all jump into do-do. I did this for years. And it's metaphorically do-do. I saw Victor look and he's smiling. He knows exactly. But think about this. What we do is we get excited about it and then we start to get into action. And I see this all over the place right now with everybody's doing their business plans. We're creating a business plan based on the goal that we want. And we're saying, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I have all these strategies, all these things I'm going to do. When I do that, I'll have my goal. And then once I have my goal, I'll be successful. I'll be happy. So we're living with do, have, and then B is a byproduct. The challenge with this is we're doing things based on who we've been in the past. To move forward in life, we have to change our identity. And the market's now forcing us to do this, which is a very good thing. This is a massive opportunity. The opportunity right now is we can stay stuck, complain about what we had, be fearful, be doubtful, or we can flip that and say, I'm going to have the best year of my life. I am going to thrive irregardless of what's happening in the market. It's going to get easier because there's less people even around working in the real estate industry. 45% of the agents in the last 12 months did not sell a house. 73,000 licensed, 45% didn't sell anything. Only 4% of the realtors sold 12 homes last year. In the last 12 months, only 4% sold 12 homes. That's one sale a month. No judgment in any of this, just to impress upon you the massive opportunity that we have if we can just own it in our minds first. So we want to shift from the doing. We want to step into creating this identity. And this is the masterpiece life secret number 2. Be overdue. Not do first. We need to become more. We need to think different. We need to create a new identity based on the intentions that we have, based on the goals that we set. Ultimately, what we're doing is we're reprogramming our self-image. We're reprogramming the vision that we have of ourselves that allows us to operate every single day. So think about your self-image as the operating system on your computer. Your operating system functions and runs the computer while you're working away on the program that you're in. The difference is our operating systems are constantly being updated in the background. So we're always getting the new and improved version, and we don't have to do anything. It just allows us to do what we're doing better. The difference between our computers and our minds is we don't consciously create new actions, implementing new ideas, focusing on who am I needing to become to achieve this new goal. So we have the opportunity to create this new identity, reprogram our thinking based on our imagination. And when we start to imagine, be like a kid, start to imagine this person that you want to be. So we can do it based on income. It's easy to look at it as from an income perspective. So setting your intention for next year, asking yourself then, who do I need to become as a real estate agent? And I have a strong suspicion those 3 power statements, remember those 3 power statements? If we implement that into our life, I am confident, I am focused, I am consistent. Implement that into who you are being every day and following through, you're going to start to do things different than you've done in the past. And this is how we transition from where we are to our future life. This is part of the creation process. We create ideas in our mind. This program, this webinar we're doing today, we have created an opportunity, a program based on an idea, based on agents reaching out and asking for help. It gave me an opportunity to explore what was actually happening, and then how do we shift my thinking? How do I do things different to help people succeed in this market that is fearful and fear-based really right now? So the second secret is be overdue. We really do have to start using our imagination, start thinking, how am I going to live my life differently than I've done it in the past? The past got you to where you were or are today. It's not going to get you to that next level. The irony here is the real estate market for the last 10, 15 years allowed everybody to grow and make more money because the market was constantly going up. Now the market's gone and we're wondering, oh no, now what do we do? So again, I want you to just take that energy, flip it over into the opportunity. Who do I need to become? Do I need to become better skilled? strong probability right now, every single person needs to develop skill sets that they don't have. And I know that's true because it's exactly what I'm working on. So I'm working on me every day. How do I develop skills that I don't have? This is the secret number 3. Is fueling your future success by reframing a plan to get there. And we do that by applying the law of cause and effect. So we want to start living in the future in our mind, in your imagination. And I'm going to share a strategy that I use every single morning and every single night. And we start living and fueling our future success based on this identity we're creating in our mind, this person that we're becoming. And it's easy to visualize how this happens in life if we look at actors. Actors are individuals just like you and me. They are in the career of acting. We're in the career in real estate. We're in the career of coaching. They are actors. They are given a script. They take that script and they read that script. Then they make a decision, I want this role. And then they reread the script and reread the script and reread the script. So they're programming and they're embedding that script into their mind. They memorize the script. And then eventually they start to imagine and act as if they're that person, that character that they're portraying. And they're internalizing it. They're doing the market research. They're getting out and maybe interviewing characters or the character or events or situations that can put them in a state to feel what it's going to be like or what it's like to live that role. They internalize it and then they actually live it. So when the camera and the director says action, they literally put themselves in a state. So they're pulling themselves out of their current situation, their current life, putting themselves into a state, this character, and living and acting as if they're that character. This is what actors do that are paid millions of dollars to do. And then we go to the movies and we watch them and we get so caught up that we forget that's Brad Pitt because we're looking at him as this character. And they're so good that we are pulled to their story. If it works for creating movies, can it work for creating our life, our masterpiece life? And I'm going to suggest it can. We've all done it multiple times in our life, except likely we weren't aware of what was happening. So we didn't do it consciously. It was happening to us. We were doing it unconsciously. So when we can start to get clear and consciously make these decisions and realize you have the ability to write your own script. You can create your own movie. You can be the lead character. You can be the executive director. You can be the cast supporting actor in your own story. And you're going to be a little bit of everything, but you have clarity of what your story is. So my challenge to you right now is by applying the law of cause and effect. The law of cause and effect says basically this: if you are creating an action in your mind, an activity in your mind, or you're doing something, that is the beginning of a reaction to give you exactly what you're looking for. There's an effect to what you do. So how's that show up in real estate? Well, in the last 10 years, maybe 5 years, maybe you didn't even have to go look for clients because they just kept finding you. So you were doing a great job. That's the cause. Those clients referred people to you. The effect is more business. So the market actually worked for us. We didn't have to worry about this until the market slipped away. And now it's tougher and people can't afford to buy and it's getting harder. And now what do? So what are we causing actions that are going to create a different effect? So this idea right now I'm really, really hoping you buy into because it's true. You can have your best year ever starting today. Q1 can be your best quarter ever. Because if you believe that, that is the cause that's going to help you to start to believe that, feel that. The declarations, the affirmations that we went through cause you to shift the energy. So if we had the energy shift that's causing us to actually believe and think this is going to be my best quarter ever, you're actually going to start to do things differently than you've done in the past. You're going to show up different. You're going to show up as this confident person. And where this is likely shown up for you in your career is, you ever notice when you get into momentum, you start doing transactions, they just seem to flow and keep coming? And then there's other times where you haven't done a transaction for a while and it seems to get harder and harder and harder to do a transaction. So think cause and effect. So get clear, start right now, write down for yourself. You don't have to put this in the chat, but write down for yourself, what is your intention? Forget the past. What do you want? What do you want to achieve? So if we were having a conversation today, March 31st, 2024, and you can't believe you just had this quarter of sales success, what's the income you're going to write down for yourself? What do you want? And that's the have piece. We're going to have this. We just know we're going to have it. And as we start to do this, you're going to start to think about, how's that going to feel? Because we have to get emotionally attached to this outcome. If you're not emotionally attached to it, the likelihood of it happening diminishes quickly. So every day you're not emotionally attached more than the day before, unfortunately, is the day that your excitement and effectiveness drops. So we have to want this so bad. And when we do want this so bad, what are we going to do? And I'm going to suggest right now to do exactly what I did earlier in the summer, which we all know. I'm not going to share something that you don't already know. The question is, are you applying and doing what you already know? Are you connecting with people every day? And by connecting, an email is a connection, a text is a connection, Facebook message is a connection, and Instagram is a connection. Connections and relationships are built in conversation. How many people are you having conversations with every single day? My 100 connections that I had early in the summer, realizing what people were going through, has turned into coaching clients. And I'm impressing upon you the law of cause and effect. I started with this idea. I'm going to try to figure out what's going on. Had conversations, it's translated into business. Wasn't my intent when I started. I just wanted to gather information. But because I'm reaching out, having conversations, figuring out what's going on, people then started asking me, how could I help? That's the law of cause and effect through conversations. That will work for you in real estate. You literally right now don't even have to talk about real estate. And you all know this, real estate comes up in conversation. The connection I'm talking about right now is, hey, Victor, how are you? I was just thinking about you and I wanted to give you a call. How are you doing? And I know this isn't happening because let me ask you, when's the last time somebody called you and asked you that question? I'm not Italian, but I know what that means. A long time ago. Like never. It certainly hasn't happened this year or last year. So be the cause that can help people feel better. Remember all the pressure we're feeling, everything that we're feeling right now, the doubts, the worry, fear of the future. How am I going to pay my bills? There's a strong likelihood your clients are going through the exact same thing. So I'm going to suggest you are real estate agents, but you can literally take your real estate hat, put it on the desk, and be a human being and simply reach out and connect with your network, connect with your database, connect with your past clients. And you can jump into, oh my God, I haven't talked to them in a while, and what am I going to say? Remember, flip it, mindset reset, write those down. What's the opposite? They might even just be happy to hear from you. Maybe you're an ear for them. Here's how many opportunities you have in front of you right now. If you have your phone in front of you, I'd like you to see how many contacts you have in your phone. So on an iPhone, you go to contacts, you scroll to the very bottom, and it's going to tell you how many contacts you have in your phone. Type in the chat for me how many contacts you have. I have 2,027 contacts in my phone. 496. Whatever number of contacts you have is the opportunities you have in front of you right now to create a masterpiece life and have your best quarter ever by simply connecting. And if you want to break down an action step, so we're following an action, you take that number and you divide it by 60. And the reason 60, there's 20 work days in a month. So you take your number and divide it by 60. So I have 2027 divided by 60. 33 contacts a day. So if I was really, really committed to have my best year ever, and I was going to do whatever it took, because that's what it's going to take, would I reach out and talk to 33 people a day? And these are the questions we have to now start to ask ourselves. This is what the opportunity is being provided to us right now. How committed are you to live your best life? And anything that would stop you is a fear and a doubt. And if we could flip that over to a positive, you can see there's nothing literally stopping you if you really, really committed to living your best life and having all the success that you wanted and feel you deserve. So we need to start to becoming this. We need to become this person. We need to become this person that is committed, that is focused, that's disciplined, that's confident to do what it takes every single day. And have you been doing and living life that way? That's the question you have to ask yourself and look in the mirror for the answer. And this is the accountability that it is going to take to live this masterpiece, world-class life. And you can play with these numbers. I'm just impressing upon you that it's going to take a desire to become your best every day. And as you start to imagine, what does this person look like? What do they feel like? What do they do? How do they act? Who are they surrounding themselves with? You're a professional. Think of other professionals. I'm a sports guy. Look at the professional athletes. How do they live their life? They are 100% committed. Everything revolves around their sport. Everything they do. That is all they do every single day, and they become the best at it. And as they're doing this, they're working on their skills constantly. They get better every day. If we're not working on our skills, we're not getting better, and we're trying to get to the future based on past skills that barely worked in the past, but they're definitely not working today. So what skills do you need to develop? So the more you start to ask yourself these questions and living in and working from the being mindset, a strategy we recommend is bookending your days. So how are you starting your day and how are you ending your day? We all live a habitual life. We do things over and over without conscious thought. That's programming, and those are habitual habits. We know this is reality because if we've ever driven somewhere and ended up there and don't even know how we got there, that's how powerful habits are. We can actually drive a vehicle without thinking. Are we living life that way? And the likelihood is yes. The opportunity is today's the day I'm going to make a decision to change it. So how do you start your morning? Focus. I start my mornings every morning as I'm coming out of my sleep, visualizing. I consciously catch my mind and I think about my life. Where is it going to be based on me of having achieved the goals that I want? And I play the movie in my mind. And what's interesting is the movie's always changing because the clearer I get, the clearer the movie gets. And the secret in all this is we want to bring in the senses: hear, see, smell, taste, touch. We want to feel it. We want to put ourselves, imagine sitting there, living it, just like the actors do. I start my movie in my mind on a beach chair in Playa del Carmen, Mexico, because I can live that experience from last year where I can walk up to the beach, put my feet in the water, and I can feel the breeze. I can smell the air. The restaurant behind me, I can smell the food. The vendors on the beach walking up and down selling fruit, fresh fruit, buying fruit, having a bite and juices all over. So I get to relive this, and that's how I start my movie every day. And then I go from that state because it puts me in a very happy, conscious place. What is my life that I'm living based on the goals I'm setting? And I keep reliving that. This can happen in a minute, can happen in a couple minutes. But imagine starting your day every day that way in your future. Second step is meditation. Meditation is just quieting the mind. And the best way to do that for me is early morning before the mind gets too busy, because I have a squirrel mind. I can be all over the place. I know a few of us on this call can be a little bit scattered. So I can when my mind is already calm, it's easy to keep it calm. So just being present and being grateful. Read every morning. I read 9 pages. 9 was the number I set based on the goals that I wanted to achieve, number of books I wanted to read every year. So 9 pages a day. Getting into movement, whether it's a walk or the gym. Gym 3 times a week, walk down the paths in behind us. Getting into movement. And the last one is hydration, more water. The more I'm learning about nutrition, the more I realize I quite often am thinking I'm hungry and I'm probably dehydrated. So how do I focus on more water starting first thing in the morning? Every day, that could be 15, 20 minutes, that could be 30 minutes, whatever you choose it to be. Imagine starting and being selfish, that's how you live your day every day based on the goal. Do you think you're going to feel better and more energetic? So now we know we will. The question is, will we do? What will we do? And this is where we have to watch and be careful, because habitually, your mind will talk you out of doing this. It's a new habit. It's not going to feel comfortable. I'm going to start tomorrow. I didn't do it today. I'll do it tomorrow. So once you know something, the goal is to implement right away. So as you're getting ideas for being on here today and investing your time, which is your most valuable commodity, implement. Idea, implement. Jacqueline acknowledged me for that a little while back, where I take something and I implement. I don't overthink it. And I'm not attached to making mistakes or being silly or foolish, because I learn from everything. Then you go do your day. You go hit your numbers. You do the things you need to do to be successful. And then I bookend my day, my evening, by asking myself, what did I learn today? And I journal it. What were my wins today? And what am I grateful for today? So, what did I learn today? What were my wins today? And what am I grateful for? And I mean to literally think about this and write down something. And you're going to notice sometimes you get habitual, especially on the gratitude. Well, I'm grateful for this, this, this. And we just write down things that tend to be very consistent. I mean, what are you grateful for? I often say I'm a simple guy. I woke up this morning. It's a beautiful day. It doesn't get better than this. Everything else is just stuff. Everything else is just a challenge for the moment. Because in 5 years from now, it won't matter anyway. Helps me deal with things by being present. So what did you learn? What were my wins? And what are you grateful for? And then I end the day the same way I started. As I'm lying in bed, I start to put myself back in the beach chair, living my future. And the power of our subconscious mind is it will literally go to work for you while you're sleeping. The law of cause and effect states that as you create these new ideas, new thoughts, their energy is being put out into the world and universe, and things and people are going to be attracted to you. This is evidenced by the fact you're on this call today, because this started with an idea in our minds. So you've done this. So the question is, as we're doing this and creating this new identity, just understand that we've all done this. We all have evidence it works. My identity shifted when I got into real estate. The first time I was trying to sell a vacuum cleaner to the president of the real estate board. And he said, my God, if you can do that, why don't you get into real estate? Planted a seed. Opportunity shows up sometimes. The question is, are we awake to hear it or see it? I didn't act on that right away. 2 months later, though, I started to question, what am I going to do with my life? And real estate popped up. Oh, Pauline, I have it on my desk. It's so interesting that you just put in that book, The Power of the Subconscious Mind. So powerful. Psycho-cybernetics. I'm rereading these books. I've marked them up so much that I've literally pretty much at this point underlined everything, because every time I read it, I notice something I didn't see before, because I've changed, I've grown. So you're going to hear things come into your mind. Listen for them. Listen for the opportunities. So think about this as you're creating this vision for your life. 90 days from now, the end of March, you're having your best quarter ever. You're living it every morning, every night. You're celebrating your wins. You're looking for your opportunities. You're shifting your energy. You're doing things different. Things are starting to happen. You're confident. Business is starting to flow. That's your state. That's your identity. Our goal now is to not only initiate it, but to maintain it. It's like the snowball. They start off small, and it seems to take a while. Perfect day to build a snowball or snowman. But as you get going, it's easier to maintain the momentum than it is to start. So I had an identity at 22. Everybody on this call had an identity when they created an identity when you got into real estate. And you had no idea what that was, but you followed a dream, and your dream was to get your real estate license. And then you became a real estate agent. And you have achieved the success you've achieved in your life. The ceiling on your success is right now happening based on what you believe, your programming, what you think is possible, and even deeper, what you feel you deserve. So if we want to create a new identity and make more money and become more, we have to reprogram those thoughts. How do we do that? We first have to expose them, And through the power of awareness, we understand, okay, here they are. Okay, this is what is happening. I want a different result. I'm going to shift it. And now you're starting to see the cycle. This becomes a cycle and a journey. 35 years old, decided actually it was, yeah, about 35 years old. Came home one day, my wife's getting ready to walk out the door with my two kids saying, I'm done. And I'm thinking I'm doing all this for her and the family. And she goes, you're never here. So I realized at that point I needed to create a new identity. I didn't use that language back then. I just knew I needed to change something. Started to build out a real estate team, hired an assistant who had a real estate license. Then ended up working with another real estate agent. We co-founded a team, and I did that for years until I created a new identity when I was 45 and decided to step into a leadership position, and we opened up a real estate company. I was able to bring a lot of experiences and confidence with me, but I'll tell you, the first 2 years I did that, I had no clue what I was doing. But I don't quit, so I kept figuring it out. And then I remember having a conversation with one of the top leaders in the company, and they shifted my thinking to becoming more, thinking from that position. And that's when we were able to shift the results, and we grew the #1 company in Canada 3 years in a row. Because I was living from a place and helping people do that. And then the results were the company grew, their business grew. And then I shifted my identity again at age 55 when I decided to walk away from everything, sell my shares, and follow my dream and heart. And we opened up the Be Do Have movement. You've done this too. So when you start to reflect, think of all the decisions that you made. And every time you make a decision, you create a new identity. You get married, new identity. You have kids, now you're a parent, new identity. Look for this. You see the patterns, except now we can move forward understanding how do we get the results we want faster and easier. And that's what this will do for you. It's going to help you get your results faster. So to circle back what we've covered today, the 3 secrets. #1 is the power of awareness. Be overdue. And then being my new identity by bookending my day. Those are the 3 secrets right now that I know I've learned and lived with, and I've been able to create success faster by acknowledging this happens every single time in my life. So I become fully aware of it. And now our goal is to help you do and apply these in your life so you get results and success faster. So let me ask you this question. If there was an opportunity, how would you like to work with us directly to implement everything we've talked about today to help you create your masterpiece life? Give me a thumbs up or a yes in the chat. So this is that opportunity, like when I was trying to sell the vacuum cleaner to the president of the real estate board. Opportunity shows up. You can scan this and you will see an opportunity in front of you for a program that we've created. This program, we've created it whereby here's the intent behind it. It's repeatable and it works on mindset. It's just not on strategy. How do we implement mindset? How do we change our thinking and implement our thinking and mindset so that we can achieve our results faster and easier? And then when we do that, we do things different. You already know what you need to do. If you're not doing it, there is the opportunity. So let's get connected to being the person that does that and follows through. So when you scan the code, you're going to see an overview of the program. And I'm going to encourage you to enter your information and you will get a code to save 50%. And we've designed this so that it starts January, the first week of January till the end of March. And the intent is you are going to increase your income by 75,000 or more in the quarter in that next 90 days. Now that 75 is just a number. but we were very focused when I created this. If 75,000 a quarter, we extrapolate that over the year, that's 300,000 next year. Now that could be a lot, it could be little, depending on your perspective. If you're already doing that, well, how about doubling it by reprogramming our thinking so that A is, first of all, even possible in your mind? So every week we're going to be going through a strategy and a session to help you not only see it, feel it, but believe it and then implement and follow through. So imagine if this, or what if this was a turning point in your life? And looking at this as that opportunity. It's a great question to ask yourself about every opportunity, every situation. So if we sometimes slow down and look at the situation, change our perspective, we can sometimes see through what's in front of us. Because if we don't, habitually, we're going to answer things and do things the way we've always done them. No, thanks, I'm too busy. No, thanks, it's not a good time. No, thanks, I don't have the money. These are patterns that show up in our life. I've lived it, I know. But what I want to help you do is I want to help you get from where you are right now, wherever that might be. We'll call it Pain Island, because there's probably some pain going on, some challenges you're facing. And I want to help you get to Pleasure Island in 90 days based on your goals. Now, there's ways to get there. You can swim, go do it on your own. Go swim, you can do it on your own. You're going to get there. Might take a long time. Maybe the tide comes in, current comes in, but you're going to keep going. Don't quit. You will get there. Or we could take a boat. We all jump in the boat and row over. Or we could build a bridge and get there and follow the road and get there as fast as possible. So the question you ask yourself is, how long am I going to stay in Pain Island before I get to Pleasure Island? What is that for me? And as you start to think about this, this can become a turning point. And here's something else I've learned. Success loves movement. We decide quick is a habit. The quicker you make a decision, whether it's yes or no, I'm not attached to that because it's your decision for you. In life, the quicker you make a decision becomes a habit. If it feels right, do it. If it doesn't, don't. And don't let anything get in the way. Jacqueline and I just did this. We've signed up for a few programs. And it's just the opportunities. Like, okay, I wasn't planning on spending that money right now. Do I want this? Is this going to help me get me where I want to go? Yes, do it. And how did I do it? I put it on a credit card. I paid for it. Pay it later. Like, this is how we live life when we really want something. Action takers, we like to reward. So anybody that signs up in the next 24 hours, you'll receive a bonus money mindset course. And there's the code, QR code again. So I encourage you to review the program, sign up, and you'll get the code for the discount. And you may have some questions. There's an opportunity to book a call. Let's have a conversation about it. Now, let me take you back to your reality of your future, Pleasure Island, your destiny, your masterpiece life. I was having lunch with a mentor of mine beginning of October. He was in town, Jim Quick. If anybody hasn't heard of him or read his books, I encourage you. Limitless is his book that he's known for. He's known as the boy with a broken brain. And we were talking, and he said this that was so profound. He said, life is the C between B and D. We looked at him. He goes, life is the choices between birth and death. That's profound. If you're aware and you're thinking and hearing what he's saying. I like to expand on that now and take his wisdom. And my masterpiece life is the choice, change, and commitments I make every day. between birth and death. I have today. I don't know what the future is going to be, but I have today. So ask yourself, how many times have you said you were going to do something and didn't? Look for patterns. Again, my goal is to help you think different. Look for patterns. Are there repeated patterns that keep showing up that might be keeping you stuck? I'm going to encourage you to do this. Number one, start to really, really trust yourself and just know you have everything you need right now. Decide on what you want. Get clear on that 90-day goal between now and the end of March. And then decide on who you want to be. Believe it's possible. Not only possible, but you deserve it. Commit to becoming more, thinking different, feeling different, creating new habits, creating new beliefs. Why are you doing what you're doing? And then lastly, expect to have what you want. Feel it, own it, visualize it. Feel the water, feel the waves, feel your success. Expect it to show up for you. And when you do this every single day, you will, and focus on becoming your best you can be, you literally can be, do, and have anything that you want. So I want to thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Appreciate your understanding with our technical difficulties at the beginning. And I'm here to answer any questions that you might have. When you get the email, let's have a conversation if there's anything going through your mind. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day, wonderful rest of the week.